11th month, 1974, and boy have I got a story to tell you. I'll quickly say though, in 1974, 11th month, look at the changes. This has got the windscreen wiper up the top and the newer doors that came out in late 74. So this is right on the changeover. It came out of an F155, FJ45 this one, but boy has it had a transformation. Bevan owns this one. I'll come back to that. Bevan's owned it for 4 years, but I've known this vehicle for many years. Ryan was the first gentleman I knew that owned it and actually did a cab off restoration. So Ryan found this one near Dubbo, New South Wales, inland there, and looking back, it was a farm rig. He actually said this farm rig, he had trouble registering it because it was registered as farm equipment, not a vehicle. And so he had a challenge there, and it had a boom spray on either side. And that boom spray was, I think he said chain or belt driven, chain driven to the wheels. And they used to just use it as an implement, as farm machinery. And then Ryan comes along, does a restoration. Now I'll tell you something about Ryan. Jump on his Instagram. Life in a 60. It's well worth the follow because now he's doing a 60 series. He's got a Holden Ute and you can see photos and all his builds and content. Does some really cool stuff. Cab off. So he purchased this as a 155F engine, and up here in Queensland he found himself a 5-speed, a 2H, and that 2H came with a turbo. So now 2H engine, not just an engine conversion. Now I'm talking cab off. He did a full tear down, full to the chassis, and we'll have a look at the canopy behind us. Ryan made that. He made the shell, the flooring, cut all the sheet metal himself. He did have help with the body work. That was it. Did the rest himself. And actually Mr. Landcruiser knew him in the day because we helped him with an e-locker in the rear, and the e-locker is still in it to this very day. Now Ryan's wheeled this. I'm going through his old photos and he really utilised it. Like all of us, travelling, camping, four-wheel driving, got the most out of it. He's moved on to a 60 because he's a family man now. He's expecting a second child any day, so he can't have them all. So he's let the 45 go, and now Bevan owns it. Now Bevan, we've also wheeled with Bevan. Now Bevan's had this for 4 years. He's done a little bit to it in that time, but look at how it's presented now. So Bevan and Lisa have just done from New South Wales, then they've come up to Queensland, they've done long drive for the drought, and from long drive to the drought they've gone and done the Cape, and now they're on their way back through to New South Wales. So they've stopped at Mr. Landcruiser, and this trip isn't finished. They've still got to go over the border and back into New South Wales, and it's already clocked over 8,000 Ks this trip. So Bevan and Lisa really utilise this, and it's in their family. Their son Josh has a 45 as well with the 12 HT. He's part of the long drive. He was up at the Cape, and a big shout out to Bevan because he's also behind orchestrating that Ampol is a big support of long drive for the drought, and it's businesses like that that make things like long drive for the drought actually happen. The support from a big business right through to small business. So a big shout out there to making sure that long drive actually even happens. Now let's we'll go around the outside of this vehicle. Ryan's done most of it. I will say straight up that since Bevan's owned it and Ryan's wheeled it, toured, Bevan's wheeled it, toured. So it's had a bit of punishment. Bevan's already done a shut door, put some new seals in it. So since Ryan's done a restoration, not to the same detail, but Bevan's also looked after it as well, gave it another touch-up shut door. As I said, weather strips. Still running the 2H. I do notice the snorkel on the outside, whistle and soot. That is Bevan, so that's been changed over the years. But still, while we're on the outside, it's how Ryan set it up. He put the ARB bar on the front, and that's supporting a GME aerial. And who knows what that thing is in the middle of the bull bar? That is for Starlink. So that's a Starlink mount. So these guys go remote places all over Australia. It's good to know for emergency or just to check in on the kids. You've got that up there. Also on the front bar, it's got the LED lights, just to give it a bit of vision at night. Now, the wheels, Mickey Thompson, Baja, really happy with those wheels. Behind those wheels is a disc brake front end, 1974, never got the disc brake front end. So Ryan threw that in there as well to go with the 2H and the 5-speed. It's still manual steer, which Bevan's fine with, big tourer, so he doesn't need to, at this point in time, doesn't need the power steer, maybe something for the future. High lift jack mount on the outside. In the tray now, I'm not going to open it because these guys have been touring. It's full of their personal items, it's got fridges, the dual batteries set up, and now that they've stopped at Mr. Landcruiser, we've loaded them up with parts. There's actually a brand new roof in there. Up on top, we've got our max tracks and some solar power running down to that battery. I say it's time to go and have a look at the 2H and see the turbo setup. I love this. Like the outside of the car, it's just as dusty and dirty under the bonnet. You know, when Mr. Landcruiser does a walk around, we usually wash them first. This one's still on its way back from the Cape. I do see a nice shiny fan blade in there. So on Bevan's trip this time, up at the Cape, we've sent up some parts to Townsville. He knocked a blade or two off the fan blade. We sent a starter motor up and we've changed the battery over on his way through this time. But otherwise, these cars are reliable. Even with those problems, starts every day and gets it down here. You just keep traveling. No ECU shutting this bad boy down. What's pretty cool about this one too is this is a whistle and soot turbo setup, but I'm talking back in the day. Bevan's owned it for 4 years. Ryan did it many years before that. So this is pre their modern airbox setup. And even the brake booster, now it's disc brake. That's got a massive spacer on there. Now you think in 1974 it didn't run that system, so there's no room for a booster. That's actually worked quite well. The booster spacer we sell, it wouldn't fit in a 1974 and earlier. We've even gone as far as changing firewalls and what have you. Everything else is pretty neat. There's all the wiring's consolidated. The radiator looks brand new. I'd say he's that's where the fan blade went, maybe straight through that radiator up at the Cape. But that's it, 2H, plonks in there beautiful. Absolutely lovely fit. This is bloody awesome. How many of my walkarounds that involve tourers, say your fuel tank, outside cab, your 1979 to 84, pretty much all of them. So this is excellent to see such an old one turned into a tourer. So the fuel tank's underneath my butt, and this is still running the factory seats. They've been reupholstered. I don't know, that looks like Ryan would have had them all done in the day, but this is set up. This is just, I would love to tour in this. No power steer, no aircon. We're talking over 40-degree days when we're up at Normanton, Corumba. So all of us, we're all there sweating our ring out, and that's what you do. You're either into these or you're not. And honestly, we do see people buy them and sell them like 6 months later because they realise they are uncomfortable and you get hot. But those of us that love them, look at this bloody thing. It's got 3 cup holders, so plenty of room for beverages. On the dash, it's got a kick-ass power bank with sockets and what have you. Above that, he's got his, now this is turboed, so you've got to have a few extra gauges for your boost, your pyro, your what have you, and he's got like, it's 31.8 degrees inside this cab right now, so that's actually quite cool compared to where we've just been. Also above my head, this is pretty cool. That console's been in there for a while. I don't know if it's been dressed up. Now, I've already said it's got e-locker, so your switches for your e-locker, your rear lights, your spotlights on one side, GME radio, parcel shelf, hat holder, all in the center. And then to the left, we've got more power banks, which is excellent, and some switches. I think some of those switches are blank. You can utilize them in the future. We've also got, I said 3 cup holders. We've got the armrest style. We have got a parcel shelf. The parcel, they're bloody handy, hey. Mr. Landcruiser's got some new alloy ones coming out, which also holds his HEMA maps. Anyone that touring, whatever brand, we love our maps. We love to calculate where we go and map it all. I'm sitting on the True Fit floor, I believe. That's been put in there pretty tidy. It's also got on its steel roof, the whole vehicle's steel. On a steel roof, he's got LED lights up there just to see at night. That's it. Now, I love this thing. I would just love to tour. You're either into them or not. As I've said, this would be such a cool rig to tour in. It's dusty, it's dirty. My favourite, the Tourer. So this is mad. We're done, but future plans is to finish the drive, over 8,000 Ks to finish the drive, go home and wash the thing. Bevan said it's the dirtiest it's ever been, but I'm sure he's done lots of touring. But future plans, get home, wash it, turn straight back around, drive it all the way back to Queensland. You can come and have a look at this one at Clex. It'll be there in the lineup. Put your fingerprints all over it. Bevan will love that. It'll be there on the day, so 12th of October, very, very soon. Come and have a look. But it's been such a pleasure traveling with Bevan and Lisa, having the vehicle here to crawl all over it, and we look forward to the next long drive and Clex. This one's 11th month, 1974 FJ45.